Thanks, Ciara. I'm sure the House will be aware yesterday Chris Patten, Junior Minister and former Junior Minister in Northern Ireland and Chair of the Policing Commission, was in Dublin and is raising serious concerns about Brexit. He referred and made reference to a nationalist rage getting the UK into a terrible mess in an effort to control trade policy and take back control from the EU. Ultimately, the UK will end up taking rules that determine commerce from other people such as China or even the US, and there is no doubt in my mind that ideology is overruling common sense and rational thinking. Chris Patten went on to say it was strange that Ireland has become a more pluralist, more extrovert, more committed to individual liberty and human rights as a constructive member of the EU. Britain has become less comfortable and has felt less at home as a member of the Union to which it has belonged pretty much on its own terms. As the sand rapidly runs through the hourglass, we are getting more concerned that no deal due to intransigence could be a reality. It's a horrendous situation for both North and South. I have no doubt that Northern Ireland will be collateral damage in any such scenario, and the other collateral damage will be the rural economy in Ireland. Yesterday at Dublin Castle at the National Economic Dialogue event, a number of stakeholders made representation and raised concerns over economic uncertainty. It is important to note that figures shared with myself yesterday by the IFA indicate that the agri-food industry is Ireland's largest indigenous industry. It is supporting 300,000 jobs and it creates 26 billion in turnover, currently one of the areas in relation to the border conundrum that has proved just too difficult a nut to crack. If the figures are correct, and I have no doubt the figures are correct, a proposed cut in the cap support to the industry of 5% and an application of a 2% proxy rate of inflation implied actually amounts to a potential loss in real terms of 17%. Translated into financials, that is a further €3,004 reduction in the average income, and I am sure you agree that is completely unacceptable. However, coupled to this, a potential distortion in trade, tariff implications, production costs, added uncertainty, this leaves the rural economy in a very, very precarious situation. If I can again refer to what Chris Patten alluded to yesterday, he said the UK needs to work closely with its neighbours in order to look after its own interests. But this argument has not been heard very often at Westminster. Yesterday in this House, the summer economic statement was delivered. It referenced growth in the economy and an ambition to ensure steady and sustainable growth. However, the challenge to this will be to mitigate these risks and ensure that due to extremely high levels of rainfall, we actually have enough in the coffers to address calling on any rainy day fund. However, it is concerning that for ourselves, number one priority is resolution to the Brexit discussion, whereas at today's EU Council meeting it is far off top of the agenda. Summertime and a heatwave must not distract from the importance and significance of getting round the table, negotiating and getting agreement on what post-Brexit potentially could look like and what it will deliver for Ireland.